What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and as most of you all already know by now, pieces of the Titanic sub, have been recovered, and earlier this morning, pieces of this wreckage were brought ashore. And it shocked me when I saw how big these pieces of this sub were. Because I was under the impression that a catastrophic implosion would basically eviscerate this sub, leaving only small little pieces. But to my surprise, they were hauling in huge chunks of this sub. And now it is believed that human remains were found as well. But not just that, the human remains were supposedly found within some of the wreckage that they recovered. And this is kind of like, I don't want to say it's blowing my mind, but it's really surprising to me. Because like I was telling you all in the last video, if you haven't already, go check it out. Everything that I've learned about catastrophic implosions, everything that the experts have been saying over the last few days, was that there would not be much of this sub left, and that there wouldn't be anything left of the people. I'm sorry to be graphic, but it was my understanding that these people would literally be turned into jelly. They would just turned into itsy bitsy pieces of liquidated human flesh fish food. But now they're saying, hey, we got human remains as well. I don't know. I'm kind of stumped on this one because, like I said, everything that I've learned, everything that has been said over the past week suggested that this was almost impossible. And the experts were already shocked when they started bringing up these huge pieces of the craft, because from what the experts say, it's not just me, ladies and gentlemen. People who have worked in this field their entire life, people who have done studies and research for years into implosions and the effects that all this pressure would have on the human body and these ships, they're sitting here scratching their heads, wondering how in the heck, these huge pieces of this sub were recovered. And now it's even more surprising, it's even more crazy, thinking about the fact that they have recovered human remains. I want to go ahead and go over this press release that was released by the Coast Guard, going over a little bit more information here. The Coast Guard received debris and evidence recovered from the sea floor at the site of the Titan submersible when the MV Horizon Arctic arrived in St. John's, Newfoundland, June 28, 2023. After consultation with international partner and investigative agencies, the Marine Board of Investigation intends to transport the evidence aboard a U.S. Coast Guard cutter to a port in the United States where the MBI will be able to facilitate further analysis and testing. United States medical professionals will conduct a formal analysis of presumed human remains that have been carefully recovered within the wreckage at the site of the incident. I am grateful for the coordinated international and interagency support to recover and preserve this vital evidence at extreme offshore distances and depths, stated MBI Chair Captain Jason Nebuar. The evidence will provide investigators from several international jurisdictions with critical insights into the cause of this tragedy. There is still a substantial amount of work to be done to understand the factors that led to the catastrophic loss of the Titan and to help ensure a similar tragedy does not occur again. The MBI will continue evidence collection and witness interviews to inform a public hearing regarding this tragedy. Additional updates available on the Titan Submersible Marine Board of Investigation's webpage. So, yeah, I am really surprised here that they recovered some human remains, and I'm still kind of iffy on if this needed to be reported in a way. Like, all right, when you have someone missing that was presumably murdered and you find human remains, yeah, that's something you really need to report on and talk about. But here, we know what happened to these people. And I'm assuming, maybe I shouldn't assume too much, but I'm assuming that there's not much left of these people. So whatever human remains they found, it's not like they found an intact body. But then again, they found an entirely almost intact sub. I'm not even going to go there. Let's just get back on track. I don't believe that they would have found, an intact body. So human remains, I'm thinking bits and pieces of a person. I'm sorry to be graphic, but we're being realistic here. I don't know if that was necessary to report on, because finding human remains, it's not really telling you anything. We know that they died in this implosion. So the discovery of human remains, planes flying overhead, the discovery of human remains, I don't know if it's really newsworthy. I guess it's interesting, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think it's necessary to report that, yeah, hey, we recovered pieces of the ship and we found one of these guys' fingers in here. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of unnecessary. Leave it to the imagination. I don't think this is going to bring any type of closure or comfort to the families, because it's not a mystery what happened to their family members. And if you found morsels and small portions of their body that were basically eviscerated and torn apart, that's plastered to pieces of the sub wreckage, I don't know. I don't know how significant that really is. But they found some. They say they found some. Who it belongs to? I guess one of those 5 people. What they're going to do with it, I don't know. Are you going to bury, small pieces of a human being? Like I said, I'm not trying to be graphic, but there's kind of no way around it here. And I'm still kind of just like blown away. Honestly, I'm literally blown away that they found human remains, for one. That just goes against everything that I thought I knew. And the fact that they recovered such big parts of this craft, I find that really interesting. And another part that's really weird is this. There are parts of this sub that were built with different materials. We know that. The whole of this sub, the portion of this sub that contained the people, that was made of carbon fiber. So it's, in other words, probably the weakest part of the sub. So if the sub imploded, I would think that the hull would no longer be intact. You know what I'm saying? But in order for you to find human remains inside some wreckage, it's the wording of things. You know what I mean? Like if you have, here's my iPad. Let's say you have a piece of metal this big, and stuck to this piece of metal is a human ear. Can you really say that, hey, we found human remains inside of the wreckage? You know what I mean? So when they use the words that they found the human remains inside of some of the wreckage, it makes me think that the human remains are inside a portion of the craft that y'all recovered. But it's my understanding that the portions of the craft that y'all recovered would not have humans inside of them. But then again, the thing imploded and maybe parts of this human flew inside. And so, I don't know. I don't even want to keep going into detail about this. It's really graphic. It's kind of gross. And it's really sad and heartbreaking that this happened to these people. I don't care if they're rich or not. That doesn't mean they deserve to die. Yes, Stockton Rush did a lot of stupid things. I don't think that he deserved to die. But yeah, like I said, I don't even know really what to say other than that this has definitely changed everything that I thought I knew. And I'm looking at the experts now, because those are the people that we've been listening to. And I'm looking at them like, maybe y'all don't necessarily know what you're talking about. And if you did, then please explain to me why they're finding these things. Because it's odd and it seems almost impossible, at least according to y'all. And once again, this is not just me saying this. You can go look into it. All of the experts in this field are really surprised by what they found. You know, what they found left of this sub and the fact that they found human remains. But let me know your thoughts about this down below. I guess they'll do studies to figure out whose remains it is. And even if they do that, does that make one family feel better that, hey, yeah, we found pieces of my husband or my son or I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.